Hey everybody, Matumbo here. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are playing some more Historic here on Magic Arena. And today we have something new for everybody. Now, it's the 1st of December, and we are going to try out something new for this month. We are calling it Decktember. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be playing a viewer deck every day, a viewer submitted deck sent to us in the Discord, assuming that we get enough of them. And I'm going to go through, I'm going to play your deck as is, and I'm going to play it a few games. And then after that, we're going to make a few changes. We're going to see if my changes maybe make your deck better, maybe make the interactions with it a little more fun or maybe consistent. And we're just going to see if we can just, work together to just maybe come up with something new, or, maybe you just want my advice or some ideas. Or you would just, you're just wanting to get inside my head to see, how I would build a certain type of deck. That's what we're doing this for. I'm doing this so I can give back in a way. I want to give back to everybody. I want to be as interactive as possible. I want you guys to know that I'm here just to have fun with you guys and to play this great game. So if you do want to be considered for Decktember, you do have to join the Discord. And then from there, you have to go into our welcome channel, make sure that you get the permissions to see all the other channels. And then you just need to go to the Decktember channel and post the format or post the information in the format that we asked for, so I can actually read the deck and everything a little bit easier. But yeah, just do that. Hop into the Discord, give the info, and I want to play your deck. So with that being said, real quick before we hop into the channel, and I know this has been a long intro, just like, comment, and subscribe for me. Would be appreciated if you could just help the channel grow, and that's all I ask. So let's hop into this deck. And this deck was brought to us by my good friend Mike, and he is submitting Mono Blue Mill. So Mike is newer to Arena. He really just took it up a few weeks ago, and he likes playing this mill deck. This is one of the decks that he crafted. He had some of the cards from some of the pack openings that he did, and this is what he submitted. So I've actually seen some of his gameplay. He actually has a YouTube channel. If you want to check it out, I'll link it down in the description below. And so yeah, he actually posts this. He has some pretty good success with this, on his channel. So we're gonna see if we can recreate that success, and then from there we're going to try to maybe make some changes, see if we can get this deck working a little bit more a little faster or a little more consistently, or just to see if we can just mill them out in one turn with crazy combos or just something. We don't know yet. That's just what we're gonna do. So looking over this initial mono blue shell, obviously a few things do stand out. Obviously, we have Bruvok, so Bruvok is going to double all of our mill effects. And then we have cards like Teferi's Tutelage. We have Maddening Cacophony to mill 8. We can double that to 16 with Bruvok. We have Ruin Crabs to mill every time a land comes into play. We get to mill for 3, and that's 6 with Bruvok. We have, it looks like, 7 forms of fetch lands. We have 4 Fabled Passages, 3 Evolving Wilds. Those seem like they could have some good interaction with the Rune Crab as well. We also have Secret Keepers, obviously for more mill, Minister of Inquiries for more mill, and the energy synergy that you get there. Some ops for card draw, Frantic Inventory for card draw. These stack on top of each other because you get to draw a card for each one of them in your graveyard. And then we have a few, we have Into the Stories. This is going to be good because we're going to be milling our opponents. And then once they actually hit 7 or more cards in their graveyard, this is only going to cost us 4 mana. So 4 mana to draw 4 is pretty good. And then again, all the mill and then the draw card combos with the Teferi's Tutelages, because the Teferi's Tutelage we get to mill 2 every time we draw a card. And then we have some interesting cards here that, I'm pretty surprised to see. So we have 1 copy of Baral's Expertise. This is a 5 mana spell that was brought back in Kaladesh Remastered. We get to return up to 3 target artifacts and or creatures to their owner's hand, and then we can play a spell that costs 4 less from our hand for free. Okay. So this could be good for like to stem Stem the Bleeding on an attack or something like that, or maybe like an artifact combo deck. Maybe it buys us a turn. 2 copies of Solemn Simulacrum, 4 mana 2/2. So when this enters the battlefield, we get to go to the land. So then this would trigger our Runefall Crab. And then when this dies, we can draw a card, which could trigger our Teferi's Tutelage. So that has some good synergy there. And then we have Teferi Master of Time. So we could draw a card, which procs the Teferi's Tutelage. We could do that on our turn and our opponent's turn. We can actually phase out creatures for -3 if we want to prevent an attack. And then if we do get to ult it, then we get to take 2 extra turns. So that's potentially good. And then the last card I'm kind of interested in looking at is this Glacial Grasp. So this is a Zendikar card. 3 mana instant. It taps a creature. It keeps it tapped for an additional turn. And then we get to draw a card. So this really prevents an attacker for potentially 2 turns, and then draws us a card which mills with Teferi's Tutelage. So yeah, so this looks to be not a very aggressive mill plan, but I can definitely see how there's a lot of good synergies in this deck. Again, with Rune Crab, the fetch lands, all the different card draw, Bruvok. Yeah, so we're gonna take this mono blue mill deck into some games here, and we're gonna see how it does. And then we will be back with some thoughts and then how we think we will build the deck. So let's get into the gameplay. See you guys soon. All right, Mike, we are going to try out your mono blue mill deck. We're going to see how quickly it can mill somebody out. All right, well, we're going first. This hand is a little interesting. We definitely have to focus on getting land, so. Don't have any crabs. Let's go ahead and do this now. I just saw our alpha. Okay, well, gonna go ahead and play another fetch land and say go. Next turn we can Tutelage. Okay, that's gonna serve as a issue because that can give haste. He's gonna be able to play a 4-drop next turn. All right, so we're probably going to have to get rid of into the story here, I feel like. Spiral's expertise might actually come in handy. So we can play a Solemn next turn. Ooh, I don't like that. Don't like that. So this will get us our 5th land, which will turn on our Brawl's expertise. Okay. They don't have another play here. Yep. Ugh. That is brutal. That's brutal. We're definitely going to trade off the old haste. What's our best draw here? Not a land. Not a land. Alright, so let's bounce this raptor to this thing and I guess this Drover. Go ahead and put a Teferi into play. And put a Master of Inquiries into play. And let's go ahead and draw and discard. That might have bought us just enough time. You never know. Never know. Oh, another Regisaur Alpha. So we could phase this out. Then we would have to chump here. We're going to have to chump there anyway. Let's draw a card first. Let's see what happens. Think fast. What do we get here? We can discard a Frantic because we are going to get one back. We're going to basically net a card off of it anyway. Block.
Wish I knew that was coming.
All right, how many cards do we have? 32. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough sell.
I do love a good puzzle.
Yeah, we should have drawn first. They're gonna get a hasty Galta next go around. We would have the mana for the Glacial Grasp. That actually might have been good, but I guess we see how they attack, right? There's always a chance that they just don't attack us. Oh, right on time. Right on time, Ruin Crab. And we block. Doesn't matter. And then we take like 20 or so. Take about 20 or so. Actually, 22. All right, well. Game one, not looking too hot. All right, let's see. Let's get Mike a win. Let's hydrate. All right, I feel it. I feel it. Yeah, so these fetch lands are hurting the draws pretty substantially, I feel like. I understand the thought process, I think, behind these with the crabs, but they're really just hurting our draws. Give us that energy. I mean, honestly, this just might get stomped. Oh, it's Teamer. It's Teamer. So we're probably going to see some Genesis ultimatums. So when we mill, we really need to mill the good cards. Oh, it's that. Okay. So this is Neoform. This is going to pose... This is going to pose an issue. We need to hit some of their hasters. Yeah, see, the fact that this is an Evolving Wilds and not just an island, Hurts a lot. So we're probably dead here. We get to mill for 6, which... Yep, here comes the Neoform. And then we're just gonna mill him in response and kind of hope. Okay. We actually hit a combat celebrant. Some of these decks only play 1. And we hit a glass pool mimic. They're still gonna... They still should have enough damage to kill us. Still should have enough damage to kill us. And this is one of those decks where they should be playing in... so we're at 2. Alright, well... No any more energy. We only mill them for 4. Ruin crab right on time. Oh, you gotta love it. Gotta love it. All they need to do is hit us for 2 damage. These are defenders. So we need 7 blockers. I don't think it's happening. Nope, that would have been the blocks. Because there's no point. But yeah, so again, yeah, I really wish we could have played a Solemn instead of Bruvok that turn. But it actually, I think it actually gave us an extra turn because we milled 2 of their cards. All right, on to game 3. Yeah, so I'm definitely already eyeing some changes that we should be making. Yeah, we're going to talk about them when we get to that point. So, opponent goes first. This is a keep. Start off with some energy. What is... Oh, we're playing against the mill deck as well. Interesting. Alright, well. They just fired off the Cacophony like it was nobody's business. Yeah, we'll let you have that. Absolutely. Alright, so we get to draw 2 here because we've already milled 1. We also have tutelage in play. And we can definitely mill a land because we have enough of it. Oh, that was a good hit right there. You know what? Cancel. No attacks. We can do this now. I feel like we should. We hit a crab. Hitting that crab there is pretty good. Yeah, they are milling. Ooh. Oh. The good news is mill on mill, huh? We're actually not even going to play this right now. So we're not going to play this just in case they play a creature. We can actually tap it. It gives us, this actually lets us mill for 4. They're going pretty hard here. Ruined Crab, yep. You have a land to back that up too? You sure do. You sure do. Holy moly. We have 10 cards left. That was a great draw. That was a great freaking draw. So what do? We can fire this off for 16, but I think next turn that'd be a little bit better. This is going to be a close game. We are down to 7 cards. You're down to 6 cards. Oh my gosh, we are down to 0 cards. Gosh. Yeah, we're just going to go on our own terms there. We played against Mill. They milled us. They had a better draw. The Bruvok was actually a good draw, but again, some of our card choices. We could have bought a turn had we actually targeted the attacker, the Wind Robber, possibly. But I mean, at that point, our Frantic Inventory was a dead card anyway. So let's make some modifications to this deck, and then let's see how those do. All right, so let's talk about what we did here. So we went 0-3. We actually got close one of the games in the mill strategy, but we just couldn't get there, and that game could have gone based on how we may have played some cards. But I think overall with a mill deck, you want to be typically aggressively you want to aggressively mill as much as possible, and I feel like some of the cards in this are actually hindering that a little bit. So there are a few cards I want to highlight and what we think maybe not may not belong in this deck, and we're going to focus on the 2 columns on the right hand side. And again, this is just my thoughts, and this is how this is my obviously first take at this, so this is not a perfect process yet. So some of you guys know that we have played mill decks before. We haven't played them in a while, but we have played some mill decks before. And the first thing I feel like we probably don't want in this deck are going to be the fetch lands. And I know how that might seem, because fetch lands typically are good with Ruined Crab. But the problem with these fetch lands is the lands are going to come into play tapped, and we want to make sure that our lands are always coming into play untapped. There are a few exceptions, obviously, not necessarily in this deck, but sometimes it's okay for your lands to come into play tapped if you don't have a drop, if you don't have a drop on curve on that particular turn. But with this deck, the way this deck is built, you're really wanting to go 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4, because you have cards like Solemn Simulacrum and Teferi in here, and Into the Story, which is pretty important as well. But I feel like how we were drawing, we just were not drawing our lands maybe in the correct order. Maybe when you guys are playing this deck, you're drawing your islands first, which would be a little bit better, because then your Fabled Passages bring your land into play untapped if they're your 4th land. but Evolving Wilds is always going to be coming into play tapped. So we could look at potentially just taking out Evolving Wilds for more islands, but I just think if we're going to do that, we should just go ahead and cut all of the fetch lands. And then let's kind of hit on a few of these other cards too. So Baral's Expertise, with this being a one of, I do like the mana efficiency, that the fact that you get to play, you pay 5 mana, bounce 3 things, and then you also get to play a 4 mana for free. But typically on turn 5, if you're having to do this, you're probably not in a position to be winning the game. So I don't think this needs to be included. The same go for Solemn Simulacrum. I do like Solemn Simulacrum, just not in this deck. I feel like Solemn would be more in a mid-range, just creature-based deck. Right now this probably goes into like a Panharmonicon deck or something along those lines. Teferi, and I know you may have only put these in because maybe you only had one of some of these cards, and they are kind of synergistic with what you're trying to do. Teferi is a good card. Again, I don't think he belongs in a mill deck. Some people, I've actually had not an argument, but I've had a discussion about this. Some people do feel like this goes in a blue mill deck, but I just think that you want to be, again, milling aggressively as possible. Glacial Grasp, again, I feel like this is really good defensively, but I think this would be better in the sideboard if we were playing a best of 3. But again, even then, I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. Frantic Inventory, this is fine to play. I really don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with this card in this deck, but the way that we're gonna build this deck, we're gonna be playing a different 2-drop, and I think having that 2-drop is going to be a little more important than having this 2-drop. And then last but not least, Minister of Inquiries. There is a better 1-drop, I believe, in our collection, and you should have these too because they are, I think, common or uncommon. But I feel like the energy synergy here is not really needed. I don't think we should have to worry about getting energy out because, again, this does mill for 6 cards with the 2 energy, but if we only draw one of these, that's all we're going to get out of it. So it's not necessarily something that we really care about. And the card that I'm going to show you that probably is going to replace this, you probably might think that this is better. And overall, for the mill effect, it is better. But I think the other card that we're going to replace in place of this helps our deck a little bit more. So let's show you what we're going to be playing instead. All right, so this is the list that we decided to go with after some tinkering around. First thing I want to hit on is we are going to be playing 4 copies of Overwhelmed Apprentice instead of the Minister of Inquiries. So this is good because, again, it's going to get the mill immediately, and I know it's only going to be 2 cards that we're milling as opposed to 3 or even 6 if we get both of the activations off of the Minister of Inquiries. However, this is going to help smooth our draw because we get to scry 2. So scrying 2 in this deck I feel like is going to be super important. This also gives us a body that we don't care about, because with Minister of Inquiries, in order to get any value out of it, you have to make sure that it's alive. with this Apprentice, the Apprentice is just going to come into play, and then we don't care what happens to it after that. We get to chump block with it on that turn. We just don't really care about it anymore after that, which is kind of going to allow us to focus on some other cards, and not on this, because sometimes with Minister of Inquiries, we have to prioritize not blocking with it because it's a 1/2, and in order to get value out of it, we have to get to a point where it doesn't have summoning sickness anymore and we can actually use its ability. So again, with this, we get an immediate 2-card mill, and we get to scry, so we do get value out of it. We still are playing Ruin Crabs and Ops and Merfolk Secretkeeper. We did go up to 4 of those. We went up a couple extra Maddening Cacophonies, and we are playing 4 copies of Drowned Secrets. So this is the card that I was mentioning instead of playing Frantic Inventory. With Drowned Secrets, this says whenever we cast a blue spell, target player mills 2 cards. So if we have this in play and Bruvok in play, which we did go up to 4 Bruvoks, because I do feel like it is important, whenever we actually play spells, our opponents with a Bruvok in play are going to mill 4 cards every time we cast a blue spell. If we have 2 of these in play, that's 8 cards every time. So this is just going to exponentially get better and better, and we're going to mill them very quickly once we have a Drowned Secret in play, even without a Bruvok. We are playing 3 copies of Glasspool Mimic, so this card is going to double as a land if we need to. Yes, the land does come into play, and again, I did mention that we don't want lands coming into play tapped, but however, this also can potentially copy one of our creatures like Ruin Crab or Apprentice, which could gain us value in the long run. So I think this is something that we should look at playing, and again, we didn't want to play just something like Mirror Image or something like that, because this could also be played as a land. And we did go down the number of Into the Stories. We're only playing 2. And then we are going to play 3 Didn't Say Pleases. This is a counter spell. It mills 3 cards. So it's a little bit of permission. At the same time, it also provides a mill effect. And then we are playing 20 land. I know that does seem pretty low, but in reality, we're playing 23 land, because we have 3 Glasspool Mimics in our deck as well, and our deck really curves out at 4. We're not going to be spending more than 4 mana on anything. The only thing we could potentially be spending more than 4 mana on is going to be a kicked Maddening Cacophony for 6 mana. So this is how we're going to build it. This is what we're going to do with it. And let's hop into the games for our version and see how they do. And we will be back at the wrap up. All right, so after our changes, we are going to see if this deck does any different. And again, you know, it all depends on pairings and stuff like that, and what, you know, we feel like we play against more. So, you know, these changes might be right for us. They may not be right for you. But again, this is how I would build the deck if we were trying to focus on more of a actual mill strategy. So we are going to keep this. We're gonna play this to mill, and I think next turn we're actually gonna play the Mimic as a land. That way this will help us ramp up to potential 4, because we're going to play this as a land and also mill again. This looks to be a white-black life gain deck. We don't need these Secret Keepers down yet. Right, yep. You basically have an infinite resource in your life, because that's nothing that we're going to be going after. So... okay. Alright, so as planned, just get our mill on. And getting rid of the Hushbringer is actually kind of good. So Hushbringer turns off our come into play scry mill creatures. So the apprentices that we have. All right, so we're gonna play down one of these, and then we're just gonna say go. We have 2 chances at an opt here. We're gonna block the knight. If they want to use their entire turn pumping, we're 100% okay with that. This is essentially this is a time walk for them. We just take 1 and nothing else happens. So that's really good for us. And we get looks at 2 cards here. Would love to hit a land. Okay. Gonna play down this tutelage first. Oh, Bruvok's real. Bruvok. And then again, we're gonna do the same thing. Because if we can get another free turn out of them. I feel like we're definitely winning at that point. So Bruvok's really good, but their deck might be playing a lot of remove. Alright, so they might have a 1-drop. I don't know why they shocked in. Yeah, okay. So they definitely do have a 1-drop. So I think we just go ahead and play that. Really just hoping for no removal on Bruvok. It's a mill for 16. If we actually get to cast one of these into the stories. We're not going to block. Maybe they pump the knight. They can get a counter on it? Okay, so this is going pretty good. Oh, 2 counters there. That's really good for them. So we're 1 land away from casting this. Yep, so 16 cards is pretty good. I think they only have 16 cards left. Yep, they have exactly 16 cards. And that is the end of that. What's X? Magic Max. You were the first contestant. And it was a good game. Really appreciate you stopping by and playing. Well, that's a good first game. So let's hop into the next one. All right. Game number 2. So Arena, I would like to go first this game. That would make me happy. What else? We would like a good Bruvok draw with some sweet mill effects. And we would like an opponent. Those are the 3 things that we wish for this game. Opponent, or the deck's compiling everything for us. That's why it took so long to actually find an opponent. It needs to give us all of those things. So far it's failed on one of them. We don't get to go first. We do have a decent crab draw. We're gonna keep this. Okay. Well, we must remember to play the crab before we play the land. Crab first. Crab first. Alright, so they're going to take the tutelage. Alright, crab first. Ooh. Crab first. Alright, so we hit 2 Murderous Riders and a Rankle. That's pretty good. Gifted Etherborn is... it's a good creature. Oh man. Oh, man. Why you gotta be a jerk? I mean, I know you're just playing the cards dealt to you. Why you gotta be like... another rankle. We're not going to attack into your gifted Etherborn. Oh, you are just like... Oh, all the ops. Alright, well, we're on a clock now. We're on a clock. Fatal Push doesn't kill this. That's a pretty good hit. So we're gonna mill for 4. Do we keep another opt? I don't think we do. Another Drown Secrets is actually pretty good. We have to work out if we're dead here, though. This hits for 2. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8. Let's just hit a mill 4. Tutelage. This doesn't have Death Touch, right? Yeah. Alright, so then all the attackers get bigger. And then they get to attack. Got them into 4 cards. No blocks, because we are taking way more than 4. Oh man, well, that was a close one, I feel like. I don't feel like we could have done anything differently there. Them hitting our crabs, it was unfortunate, but then that left our Brewvox open. So, yeah. Alright, well, good game. Alright, on to the next game. We want to go first. I feel like one of the most important aspects of playing Mill is winning the die roll. It's a lot better when you actually get to go first. You know, you potentially get to have crab draws on turn 1 into you know, another land. Just being able to get those extra 3 cards off the mill from a turn 1 crab is really good. So yeah, an opponent gets to go first. I feel like we are not getting to go first pretty much in most of our games. We keep this. I think we do. I think we do keep this. We're just gonna opt on turn 1. Mono black control, huh? I don't want another one of those right now. So this could go a number of ways. This could be artifacts, but I feel like it's just chromatic black. Really? Really, 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 really? Why you concede, opponent? Why you concede? Alright, well, let's go on to the next game. Alright. let's go first. I'm just going to keep asking for it, right? Let's go first. The arena gods have to answer us eventually. Right, let's see. Oh, we are strangely going to keep this. We get to go first. We do have an extra land in our hand here. This Ruin Crab on turn 1. We're playing against Burn, huh? Oh, no, it's just goblins. So we just need to make sure we hit all of their Muxuses. No Muxus yet. No attacks, because they have hasters. They don't have any 2-mana hasters, but they definitely have hasters. Nope. Still no attacks. So what have we hit? Gotten rid of 3 Haste Lords. 3 Haste Lords feels pretty good. We can mill for 16? Maybe we just drown secrets? That's fine. Fine, you gonna bring it? I don't think so. Alright, no attacks. So they can't Muxus this turn unless they have a Skirk Prospector in their hand, but we've already milled 2. That's fine. So they're going to start getting damage in. Can we mill them out this turn? I think we can. They're probably going to put a Krenko on top, right? I imagine Krenko goes on top. Makes... Oh, okay. You're going to try to do crazy things next turn? I mean, we're going to take it. Only 6 cards. 16. This is probably game here. We're about to mill out goblins, people. Pretty amazing. They have 10 cards left. Oh, we beat the goblins. Get wrecked, goblins. Oh, man. You gotta love milling a goblin deck. Oh, goblin. Why do you exist? Just go back into your caves. Don't come out. At least for another 100 years. Or, what is it? How long does Pennywise go away for? 27 years? That's a good number too. Let's just do that. All right. It feels so good to beat goblins. Especially with a deck that that probably doesn't have any business beating goblins. So, let's go first again. Come on, Arena. We deserve that. We deserve. All right, so We actually played against this person. Earlier. This is the Neoform combo deck. For some reason, they're still playing in... They're still playing in unranked, right? Oh, why are we lagging? We're probably dead here, right? Turn 3 Neoform? Oh no. Could have just went for it right there. Interesting. Alright, well. Even though I do feel like we should have probably prioritized trying to find a land there. The Drowned Secret is a high risk, high reward play. But I mean, if they had the combo last turn, they would have killed us, right? Oh, they drew it? Oh no. They drew it now though. So we need the most amount of cards milled this turn. Yep, we definitely want to land here. Alright, so we're hitting a ton of their cards. They're going to Neoform into... Oh. One way to do it. This is so dumb. This is such a stupid combo. All right, so why are we lagging? Let's get this land. We only have to get them for 21 more cards here. So why am I getting so much lag? That do it? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Block. Take it. We're gonna be close. 2 cards off. Oh, that's fine. Actually hit a spell pierce. Alright, you have 5 cards. Potentially milling you out next turn. 4 cards. What are you digging for? 3 cards. I could see those cards. Yeah, because I think we were going to block this and just draw land. We mill them out. So, awesome. All right, well, we get to play another game. I'm sorry it was lagging out there pretty good. We're gonna have to restart. All right. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the wrap up. And I mean, you can see the changes that we made. We went 4-1. We were only going to play 4 games, but we did get in the extra game because somebody decided to quit after we really didn't even do anything. I think we just played, a turn 3 to Fury's Tutelage or something ridiculous like that. And our opponent just scooped. Whatever it was, there was really no reason for that. We didn't actually get a real game, but we lost 1 out of the 5 games that we played. So 4-1, pretty good record, better than the 0-3 that we went. And again, we probably should have been 1-2, but again, misplays and just maybe holding cards at a certain point may have gotten us to a win. But yeah, I do feel like the changes that we made do help this deck out a lot. I feel like it does make it a little more consistent. The deck obviously is super fast. It can mill super fast, as you saw, because we milled out the Goblin deck, and the Goblin deck really just did not stand a chance against us that game. So big props for that. Big props for that. So again, this is the finished product. This is the mono blue mill updated list. Essentially, we got to here from here. This is what we were playing. We cut out a ton of cards. We cut out a lot of the 1-ofs. We upped some of the 2-ofs to 4-ofs. We got rid of the fetch lands because we just don't really want our lands coming in to play tapped at all. We want untapped lands as often as possible. Now, I do want to point out, though, there was one card that I felt like, let's go back to the other list. So there was one card that I felt like our deck just didn't need to be playing, honestly, after playing our games. And I really think it's Didn't Say Please. Now, while yes, this does actually, it meets the flavor, the mill criteria. It gives us a little bit of board control where we can counter a spell that they're doing. I just don't think that this is something we want in this deck. I think we want to be as aggressive as possible when it comes to milling our opponents. I think we want to play this deck almost like a burn deck or like a red aggressive deck plays against us, where they just ignore everything that we're doing and then we just go after them. So, and I think that this actually punishes us for holding on to mana, because where we could be playing something like a Teferi's Tutelage or a Mimic or a Bruvok on 3, I really think this punishes us more than it punishes our opponent, because we want to be spending this mana to aggressively remove cards out of their deck. So one card we actually almost played, and again, we're not playing it for the same reason, is Whelming Wave. Whelming Wave is a 4-mana blue sorcery that basically bounces all creatures if they're not, some of the dumb creature types like Krakens, Leviathans, Octopus, stuff like that. So I really felt like if we needed to survive against aggro decks, we should be playing Whelming Wave again, because it just bounces everything. But then again, for the same reason, and I feel like I should have just listened to myself whenever we did that and just not put in the Didn't Say Pleases. I felt like our deck was fast enough to mill without that, because we have enough chump blockers, because we're going to get immediate value out of our Ruin Crabs and our Overwhelmed Apprentices and our Merfolk Secretkeepers, that once we actually get a little bit of value out of these, then we just don't care about them anymore, and they can just double as chump blockers, and then our other cards will just play the finishers, and then we'll just win the game. So again, take that as you will. This is the deck. I actually think this deck is super fun to play. This deck is obviously a little more expensive to build than the previous version because of the difference in wild cards. Again, there are 4 mythic wild cards in this deck as opposed to the previous 2. But again, this deck is going to be more consistent. If you were to build this deck, you could actually probably drop Bruvok to 3 and then remove the Didn't Say Please. Then you have 4 cards to work with. So those could even be the 0-4 wall that actually mills for 4. So that's something to consider as well. So I really hope you enjoyed this. This is going to be the first of the series, of Decktember. Again, if you want to be considered for Decktember and you want to be a part of it, please join the Discord. Please head into the Decktember channel and check out the formatting to submit your deck. And yeah, we're going to take a look at it. We're going to play. I'm going to try to do this every day, and I want to know everybody's opinion. So if you've made it this far to the end of the video, please leave a comment down below letting me know what you think. Is this something you want to see more of? Also, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, the like button, and then share the video and hit that bell icon. So do anything you can to help interact with the channel, and check out all those cool links down in the description below. So we've already mentioned the Discord, but we also have tons of other links. Check those out. With that being said, everybody, please stay safe. We will see you next time. Remember, this channel would not exist without such amazing viewers and subscribers. Thank you so much for interacting with the channel and helping grow the community. And a very big special thank you to the Patreons listed here for supporting the channel.